Welcome
worries.
if you have just joined us. This is the VeVe Wiki Clubhouse Chat. We are joined by Rhys from VeVe. We are going to invite people up towards the end. So if you do have a question, which isn't inappropriate because I have the power in my hands to put you back down to the stage. So like, don't shout something that you'd shout in Telegram. Let's be normal. So we're going to start off with a few questions, and thanks for you being here is all because of Jordan, I think, because Jordan's been in comms with you.
That's mainly Mark as well, but yeah, I mean,
Mark
thanks
as well.
to Rhys for being here. I think it was just the point you made a point in Telegram prior to me talking to you, Rhys, and you just said like hardly anyone ever says anything positive. So I just thought I'll just tell you that you're doing well, and you got back in contact. So I don't know whether it was to do with that, but I think you're all just really nice guys. So yeah, but yeah, we'll kick it off a little bit then. For sure.
One positive message makes up for 5,000 wet noons and wet Pokemons.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention the P word, but you've already said it, so you've all let tonight. So that we'll just copy that bit out anyway, and it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much all the questions I had have just been pretty much covered, but mainly just I'd say from you one short term and one long term thing that you're most excited for, and also what the heck does VeVe actually mean? What does it stand for? That's me. That's my questions.
That's a great question. VeVe, I'll answer the second one first. We really needed to find a name that was ubiquitous across the world. You know, easy to pronounce in a lot of different cultures, easy to pronounce in a lot of different languages, and easily recognizable. I don't actually know how they landed on VeVe. There was probably, I know Dan and Dave went through hundreds of names. Every time you think you land on a good one, then you do the research and realize it's already copyrighted somewhere, or it's already a business somewhere else, or that kind of thing. So I actually think the name came about more from that basis. And then in the early days of the community, we kind of ran a poll to say, like, what do you guys think it stands for?
Right, okay.
And I think we ended up with virtual entertainment, virtual exchange, or something like that.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Kind of the community vote on what it should be. But yeah, fundamentally it just came down to using a name that was easily recognizable, easy to brand as well, all those kind of things, and wasn't taken. That was a pretty integral part. In the early days, and some of our older articles, you'll see Ecomi Collect. That was kind of the placeholder name for quite a long time. Turns out you can't really trademark the word collect. So
right, okay.
Yeah, so we had to go further from that. But yeah, that's the name. Short term, long term, what am I the most excited about? I mean, right now I'm really excited that we seem to be past the optimization phase for immediate short term, because now we can actually start to roll out some of these developments. I only just reshared one of our demo videos yesterday across socials. Have you guys seen that?
Is that the one with David and Dan? Is it on the chat? Yes. Yeah.
So there's a few really good previews in there. I mean, one of the main next development coming will be the accessories and the showrooms, and just being able to give you more customization in that space.
Yeah,
so
that's really, I saw like things like a Back to the Future background and stuff for like the DeLorean and things like that. Is that the type of thing you mean, is in terms of accessories, or is that like showroom accessories as well and whatnot?
Yeah, a bit of both. So there'll be standard sort of shelving and plinths and different statue kind of bases, things like that. So you can actually change the way that you've set up your showroom, because they will obviously become more robust as we move forward too. But then there's brand specific showroom items and accessories, like the Back to the Future, the DeLorean time machine. I've seen floating around. It's like a curbside platform. It looks like you're parked on the street. Yeah, and that parks on top. So there's a lot of those kind of accessories coming as well. Really just things like the showrooms are incredible at the moment. Being able to drop them in AR is crazy, and it's a really viral way to be able to share this kind of content. But once you can get a lot more customization in there and a lot more creative, it'll really help people to express why they like these collectibles as well, or which ones are their favorite, and that kind of thing. So short term, I'm really excited for that. Long term, I mean, we've got a number of different products rolling out. At the moment, people are obviously used to the 3D collectibles, and as of 2 weeks ago, we rolled out the first 2D cover art, but eventually we'll have a lot of different types of art coming out with the Artist Alley, and different artists doing their own releases. Some of them will pair with a physical item as well, whether it's, you might have a 1 in 10 chance of winning the physical piece if you purchase the digital one, or something like that, which is a really cool bridge.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so things like that, and then, I mean, I can't actually give too much away at the moment.
Yeah,
that's
fine. Don't worry.
Yeah. But we've alluded to a range of other digital products too, because we're not, obviously our focus is collectability and that kind of thing, but there are a lot of different types of collectibles in the world, not just figurines and not just artwork. So yeah, we're really focusing our energy and efforts on bringing in a range of different products and helping to digitize those parts of the collectibles industry as well. So I'm excited for a lot of those things to start rolling out, and realistically by the end of the year, I think we'll probably have 3 or 4 different types of digital product available on the platform.
Wow.
So
sweet, man. Yeah, like you said, I remember you saying the other day that people seem to be just so short term. And I guess that because the predominant user base at the moment is primarily people that are involved in crypto. So it's nice to, especially from our standpoint, we all know that it's all long term, mainly.
Yeah.
And it just seems to get better and better every week. So yeah, just keep doing what you guys are doing, because you're not doing anything wrong from our perspective by any means. So thanks very much.
Mate. Thanks. Yeah, we appreciate that for sure. And yeah, you're right. At the moment, there is just that speculative mindset. Obviously, a lot of the NFT hype is in the industry, in the crypto industry, right? That's where it's from, and that's where it started. So that's the people we're attracting. But fundamentally, VeVe has been built for everybody else.
Yeah,
that's why we've hidden all the crypto stuff. You don't even need to be aware of it to use the app or to enjoy it. Obviously, in the background, it's benefiting token holders and people who understand the market a little bit more. But to get to 250,000 users without marketing to the mainstream and without sort of pushing that out, like that's, I mean, we were just saying this before, but yeah, that's where the surprise and that real overwhelming user base numbers to have grinded for 3 years and then be 5 months in with 250,000 users is pretty exceptional at this point. So
you're not going to be getting any sleep sometime soon. It's just going to be too wild a ride.
That's it. It's exciting though, it's you're right. I haven't been sleeping much for the last few months. I don't anticipate sleeping that much more, but it's fun to get out of bed and get back to it, and just see what we can do, because this is the whole industry collectively is changing the physicality of collectibles. And it's the first and only time in history that this can happen. These collectibles can only make the digital transition once.
Yeah.
And to be able to facilitate some of that journey is pretty cool.
Definitely. I just want to ask a personal question before we go on to Claire. Claire's got another VeVe question, but I just wanted to talk about that surprise again. And has it become any surprise to you that you're like this celebrity in the VeVe world now? Are you telling friends and family, you'll never believe this, but there's these people in America and the UK that think I'm a celebrity because I work for VeVe?
I absolutely am, yes. In my mind, I'm just still a kid running around doing silly things, and then people want to chat to me. That in itself has been an interesting journey. But like most of my friends have heard me talk about this for a few years too, and they're all on the journey as well. I think I've just said goodbye to a couple, and I think they're probably listening to this on their drive home. It's pretty crazy to do that. And for me personally, I mean, I guess we've been building towards this for a few years, but the last few months has just been a rapid growth journey for me. To kind of step into this role where I'm more comfortable doing these kind of live Q&As and video chats and things like that too. So it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, I mean, it can only bring good things, right? And you've got like an army of volunteers working for you for free, really here.
I did actually get asked for a password reset on the Facebook group the other day. So I just said just put in a support ticket, mate. But unfortunately, I don't know that one. But I think Lucas will get in response to you. I think
he does. Yeah, he's sorting them out.
Awesome. Right, Claire. We've got Claire from Wales, and she's still up late. It's nearly 1:45 a.m. and she's still up.
Oh, wow.
Claire, what is your question to Rhys?
I mean, I do feel kind of starstruck, and I think I'm quite protective. I think I'm quite protective of you, Rhys, because you do share the same name as my son.
What a champion.
I know. And in Wales, it's a very, very Welsh name, which comes from very good royal heritage. No, seriously. Yep. So my question. So, have you got any connections to Wales? Because
my name is Welsh. Yep, that's always been the history. It's on my dad's side, but a couple of generations back. I think even my surname has somewhat Welsh history. Don't quote me on that. But in terms of direct lineage, no, it's a few generations back. But I have always been told that my name is Welsh, and that's where it's come from. I think my mum made up the meaning of it when I was younger and said it meant brave one. So I've just run with that my whole life.
That's true, because
is it?
It's because a lot of Welsh people don't accept the royal family that you will. You know, we do not accept the.
Let's not go down that route, Claire. Let's not go down that route.
Rhys was the father of the last known Prince of Wales, and he bravely fought, you see. So that's where the name will come from. I will give you a history lesson, but
let's bring it back.
Let's bring it.
You can save that one for the Welsh name heritage chat.
Definitely.
That'll be next week.
Sign me up.
Claire, your VeVe question. Hit him with it.
Yeah, don't worry. My question is, when it comes to statistics, I saw that 45% is female, 55% male. But I know you're probably not going to get the answers to all of these off the top of your head, but it's just sort of like more around your users, the age demographic. But also, do you keep stats in regards to how many people or how many full sets there are?
That information is all accessible in our back end, because eventually those kind of things will feed into master collector points and that sort of stuff. At the present moment, we're actually building in much better reporting systems so that we can sort of monitor this sort of thing. But there's definitely some back end statistics. I don't have access to them. I just get my little tidbits every week when I'm trying to put out updates, and that's where I get our user updates and things like that. But I do know a vast majority of our demographic, or at least our current users, are based in the US. US, across Europe, I think the fourth largest is France, actually. For things like that, our retention rates are pretty exceptional. Most users have either participated or purchased something in the app, whether that is the motivation for them to continue to come back or it's something else. I don't have that exact figure. But other metrics like the time spent in app, Trevor was referring to some of these in his video a couple of days ago, but the numbers that we're kind of seeing there, people are literally spending hours crafting their showrooms and interacting and following and those kind of things. So not only are the user numbers crazy at this point, but all of those kind of metrics have been pretty incredible as well.
How many? Sorry, Claire, I'll just butting in there off the topic. And if anyone else has any comments like this that they just want to, how many during what's the highest number during a drop on a Thursday? Have you gone, holy cow, we've got 200,000 people online right now? Have you seen that?
Yeah. Not that many, I don't think. I think we've easily hit between 50 and 100,000 pretty consistently on these drops. Yeah, I think a lot of users will have people tune in and out, especially now that the drops are a bit more regular. I know there was probably a number of people that thought, "Oh, what's a Cryptkin? I'm not going to bother with that one," and then 5 minutes later they wish they did. So
Yeah.
I think that's what we'll start to see spread out a bit more. But even that, to have 100,000 people trying to log onto your app at the same time to get a brand that they've never heard of, it is pretty mind-boggling at this point for sure.
Is there is there any predictions for when the marketing campaign does kind of step up a notch as to how many users you are expecting to come into the app?
Yeah, I think we're targeting at least 1 million by the end of the year.
So judging by the fact
Yeah.
that you thought there'd be 5,000 at the start of April, we'll go with that. That will be about 25 million. Okay, by the end of the year. That's cool. Thanks
possibly,
for that.
Possibly. Depends which brands we roll out between now and then, I guess. We get the marketing question a lot, and as you said a moment ago, we're very blessed to have a community of 250,000 people or more that are all really enjoying the experience and enjoying the app and sharing it with friends and family. So, we've seen that rapid adoption just come from the community side. When it comes to spending marketing dollars, obviously we've run a few ads and put a few test pieces out and things like that. But until we can get some consistent content in the store, or at least that's the goal, so that a new user comes in and can actually purchase something or interact with the app, we've really held off on spending too much. Now we're about to kick things off in the next couple of months. You would have seen the partnership with Rand and Cohen, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So those guys are, I think in 2018 they were ranked the 5th most powerful PR firm in the world or something like that. And more recently on the Forbes, top list of PR firms in the US, all of those kind of things. Now they're helping with one side, right? They'll help with the actual press releases, media, getting our faces and our company into the mainstream, because that's really the next push that comes from this. I think we've kind of capitalized, although unintentionally, on the crypto market and on people who understand that early opportunity. But now it's time to really go target the fans of these brands. And as that production engine continues, now we've got Trevor on board, so he has hundreds of assets on the go. I think we've got 3 AAA studios that we use to create these assets as well. So we can really start to line up our marketing and promotions with releases and targeting those fan bases as well. So everything's it kind of feels like we're just winding the spring again, to be honest. We got through the launch and
Sorry, you did some YouTube advertising for Cryptkins? That's a new thing? We saw someone post that.
Yeah, so we have another video agency on board, some friends of ours that help us produce content like that. So there's been a few little promo videos that have gone out. There was one for the DeLorean time machine. We did one for Murmur Corners, just showcasing what the collectibles look like ahead of time.
Yeah, the video for Cryptkins was awesome. It was more around the actual YouTube advertising. That was the first time I'd seen anything like that.
I don't think I'd seen it. I don't. Yeah. This is.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it was just someone I think shared it on Twitter, and it was an actual ad that came up. He had it on. He had YouTube on his big, massive TV in his lounge, and he was like, "Oh my god, VeVe just came on the TV."
Because it says skip ad in the bottom right hand corner of that video, doesn't it? So it must be.
It must be a thing, yeah. Oh, maybe it's maybe they're starting to test some of that content as well. Because up until now, those videos are incredible, but they end up being ready sort of a day or two before the drop. So we haven't really been able to leverage that attention.
That's what one of the users responded to. He was like, "Why the hell are they advertising it when it was sold out in 10 minutes?"
Well, and that's I mean, it's a great problem to have, but that's the problem we face at the moment. We create these promos and these assets and things to start bringing more eyeballs in, and then it's over in a minute, and it's kind of wasted.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's going to sort of lead into Claire's other question. She wasn't planned to have 2 questions, but I'm going to let her have it. Was about because I think what people listening here probably, you know, with the diehards and everything, is with a million users, and if there's only 7,000, you know, commons or something in the future, Claire, come off mute if you like. It was about the master collectors. So, you know, how do you have to have full sets for that? Or...
I'm selling my designer handbags at this stage to buy some of the collectibles. And I would like to think that I can keep my kidney, but at this stage, are we going to be rewarded for chomping at the bit and going out and buying all these sets?
I think that comes into it, right? There's no points being earned at the moment, to my knowledge, but obviously, to your question before as well, we can see all the metrics. You know, we can see which users have the most collectibles. We can see which users are collecting the most Tokidoki or the most Batman or those kind of things, and it gives us quite a lot of opportunity to reward those users too. You know, and you can really pinpoint the biggest fans of a certain brand or the most interactions within the app, those kind of things. So, yeah, the Master Collector is. You would have heard tidbits along the way, but it's a really fun way for us to add some light gamification to the app. Whether you're earning badges for things, you know, you get 5 completed sets, you might get some sort of badge, which also gives you some XP. I think that's the easiest way to think of the Master Collector, that you kind of, you're gaining experience points, or whatever we call them, collector points, for different interactions, of which, completing sets will be one, collecting different collectibles, liking, commenting, sharing, all of those kind of things. And as you gain those points, you level up your collector ranking until you eventually become Master Collector. Now, I think in the earlier iterations of it, it will kind of be a blanket, you're a Master Collector, but eventually you might be able to become a brand-specific Master Collector, and then we can reward you. Say you absolutely love Back to the Future, well, then we might gift you the curbside stand, you know, and you can then decorate your showrooms and those kind of things. So, yeah, there will be rewards. As to how much you'll be rewarded for this early participation, I actually don't know until we roll out the program. I don't know how far back we go, but having completed sets and collecting collectibles is definitely going to be part of that.
Unicorns and mermaids are us then.
So it's fun just to flip these things too, you know, and participate in the market.
Mate, I've been saying that. I did it as a challenge the other day. I started with 20 gems, and I think I brought a core or something, and I got all the way to a Gary Frank within like 4 days.
Wow.
So I know. So I think I'm up to about 320 gems from my original 20 gems. So it's possible to do if you look out for it at the right times. It's definitely something fun to do. Just adds that extra aspect to it. But.
Yeah. And is there any updates will there be any updates on the auction part of the page, the marketplace, filtering, anything like that?
Yeah. All of the above.
Okay, brilliant.
So this is version 1 of the app, and we probably would have had a few of these developments out already had we had a smaller user base and not needed to re-engineer everything. But now that we've moved across to new databases, we've got all the systems in place that seem to be working much more efficiently. We'll start to roll out those developments. So the first one is in this next week. I think it's already been pushed to Android, and we'll wait for it to be live on iOS in the next week or so. But updates to those auction rules, because unfortunately there's been a lot of pains in the bum just spamming bids and ruining people's auctions. So first and foremost, you know, new accounts will be restricted. You won't be able to participate in an auction for 72 hours. And before long, you'll need, say, 10 gems as escrow that get committed if you make an auction purchase or, you know, place a bid for an auction. So those things will cut down that. But in terms of features, this is the very base model. So before long, you'll be able to contact other collectors, trade. I'm really excited about, you know, the future capability to be able to trade collectibles instead of having to place them up for sale and then find the ones you want. We were even talking with Trevor the other day that you might be able to go through, you know, you explore the feed and then you look into other people's showrooms and see what they have. You might be able to tap on a collectible in somebody's showroom and just make an offer there, in the virtual world or whatever, to be able to complete your sets as well. So there's plenty of features yet to come for all of those. The filters definitely still need some work, which, some of them work, some of them seem to hide some collectibles. So
I feel like there's sometimes that there's just a method in your madness with a lot of it, though. Like, not having the filters on makes everybody scroll through it longer, and you're increasing that screen time and everything. So maybe that's a tactic that you're not allowed to say, but I feel like I always feel like when my friends go, "What about this? This bit isn't great," and I'm like, "There's a reason behind that."
Some things are by design. Some things are happy accidents.
Yeah. Right, just another reminder to all the listeners. I know I can see some hands up already, and we'll invite you up. So have your questions ready. Please make sure they are killer and not filler questions. We are trying to get as much juicy content out of Rhys as we can.
Are you still all good for time, Rhys?
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
cool.
Good.
Awesome. We're going to have Mike ask the next question, and then Mark, I think, after that, and then Eric. Some of the things that Rhys has said already definitely allude to your question, so be ready, Eric, to come up. Mike, over to you.
Alrighty, cool. Well, thanks again, Rhys, for joining us. There's a few new people in the room. I just want to say it's really, really nice of you to take the time on a Sunday afternoon. We appreciate it. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. It was actually really cool to hear that you're a traveler. I'm an avid world traveler for over 20 years now. I've been to over 50 countries. It's one of my greatest passions.
Nice.
There's nothing better than traveling. You obviously know that.
Agreed.
Every young person I talk to, I tell them, just start traveling. I love South and Central America. I've been everywhere in South America. Yeah, it's awesome stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. My question, I'd love to. My question has to do with like the mintings and the rarities, and kind of how that comes about. Is that a team effort where there's like a back and forth? Do you guys have like an algorithm? Is there just one guy that's just like, here it is, and everyone's like, all right? It's kind of interesting how that comes about. How you guys?
Yeah. So more or less one guy, David Yu.
Okay.
He and Dan obviously have discussions about it. But David is, I'm not going to swear on your Clubhouse, but he's a crazy collector, right? He's Dan refers to him as a level 9,000 collector. I don't know if you guys have seen, there's a few previews on his Instagram of his collectible showroom and things like that. Now, he owns and built Vagabond Games, Games R Us. These are some of the biggest hobby and collectible stores in New Zealand and across Australasia. He's been in this industry for 25 years, but it's an absolute passion of his. So he as a single entity is responsible for a lot of the things that keep you coming back to the app. He understands what it takes to drive that attention and that rarity and that scarcity, what makes an item desirable, all of those things. So for the most part, he understands the brand because he's worked with most of these guys for a lot of years. He understands the product fit in the market and makes those appropriate choices. For the most part, it's a David Yu show on that front.
Nice.
And then there's the rarities and scarcities. Obviously, we have the 5 tiers, from common through to secret rare, and obviously numbers wise, as it gets rarer, the number available is less. We also have the first appearance and first edition stamps. I'm assuming you guys have noticed those, the
For
SAs,
sure.
FEs.
Yeah.
So those, just in comparison to other digital collectible companies and things, that's one thing that most people have missed or don't understand about the collectibles industry. So, and this was new to me, not that long ago too. But the first appearance stamp that we do, that's in reference to what they call soapbox editions, basically in the physical collectible world. So where it came to a figurine, maybe the first time Batman was ever sculpted would have been a clay model or something like that, and those very early iterations tend to become the most sought after or the most valuable collectible items. Not just because, they're not always the best quality things, but they represent a little slice of history in that design. And And essentially that's what we've replicated, as every new brand drops and there's first appearance characters. I mean, this is the first time these properties, these IPs have ever appeared in digital format. Fundamentally the technology wasn't there until 3 or 4 years ago. So, that's just one example of his knowledge and experience in the collectibles industry and how we've managed to mirror that experience in the digital realm. Because that was the goal from the start. We're not reinventing the wheel. Obviously we've completely digitized this, which is the first time that it's been done, but we're really just trying to take things that collectors already know and love and offer it to them in this new world. And so far, I think we've really achieved that.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's definitely good insight. I appreciate that. Was anybody shocked when they said there's going to be 50,000 common DeLoreans?
Oh yeah.
People
were, but at that point, most people understood. We were rapidly onboarding users, but there was no content for them to be able to purchase. And most of the
100%.
feedback we got at that stage was people, the drops weren't running that smoothly and things like that. But people were more frustrated that they just couldn't get anything. They couldn't put something in their showroom. They couldn't test out the AR. They couldn't show it to their friends. So we upped the editions on that, and I mean, it sold out anyway.
Absolutely sold out a few hours in. Do you think somebody asked me to ask about the driving feature that was kind of on there and then left? Do you think that helped it sell a little more? I mean, it would have sold anyway, we know that, but you have any insight on kind of how that went down? I know you've probably been asked that before.
I don't think it necessarily helped it sell because the delivery system didn't, it especially then when it wasn't as smooth as it is now.
Yep.
You would purchase the collectible. Most people weren't receiving them until 3 or 4 hours later.
Totally.
And by then sort of the asset had changed. So a few people that got them earlier got a little taste test or a little preview of what's to come. But no, I think they would have sold anyway. The mania surrounding the DeLorean drop was pretty full on. And so I think they would have gone. But those that was the perfect example. We increased the edition numbers to try and put content in the store. Didn't really work out that way. And the drops since have been reduced numbers again.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I think we'll see a mix of both. It's more likely to be in, say a Mermacorno drop or something like that. The commons and the uncommons, I'll call them the affordable collectibles, on the lower end of the price point. I think we're more likely to see higher edition numbers so that we can cater to that market as well, so that people can come in and actually just enjoy the app and the experience.
Yeah, I saw a lot of tweets. I saw a lot of tweets in the last 24 hours saying, "Oh, here's my first NFT." So still new people coming to the game all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we've seen. I was saying this, I think, in Tap's interview a couple of weeks ago. We've seen that first wave of the crypto market, really. The understanding of NFTs that has come from that, but we're only just starting to tip over the edge into the mainstream. Like Gary V just released his NFT project, the V Friends, and and he's starting to. There's been celebrities that have released NFTs, but most of them feel like they've just kind of gone to their media guys, said, "Yep, make a digital toy and let's see if we can make some money." A lot of them feel like a cash grab.
Cash grab for sure.
Yeah, Gary V at least is trying to build in a lot of utility for those collectibles and build in ongoing value and those things. And I think that's the trend that we will start to see pick up, because ultimately this technology, if you're an influencer or a celebrity or have any sort of clout or fan base, this lets you pinpoint your number one fan. You can actually identify that person now, or that address, and reward them, because you can see all of their interactions. They're buying your tickets, they're doing this thing. And so I really think that we're about to see the next wave of influencer interaction in this space as well, and a lot more, just a lot more reward and fan base interaction.
Yeah, that's a really good point for sure. Really, really good point. Before I pass the mic on, speaking of like Gary V and the other NFT stuff, I'll ask one quick question and then I will be finished. So do you have any, maybe name like 2 or 3 other NFT projects that you might be either just respect or or maybe you're even investing in and playing with? Anything in the space that you kind of think is really cool happening?
I really like the metaverse stuff.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't have the time to interact and play with them all that much. But there's a few companies that have been building for almost the same amount of time that we have. Decentraland and things like that, and that's got such a core group of early enthusiasts to NFT technology. So I really like watching that kind of stuff evolve. I really like the community building that Sandbox does. They get a lot of interaction and engagement. They're probably more the things I'm watching and keeping an eye on. Otherwise, a lot of the content out there is user generated, and it's there's some really incredible pieces and artworks and things like that. But there's a lot of chaos out there too. It's a lot of like, here's a
100%.
Now it's an NFT. Like, so it gets a bit overwhelming.
Awesome.
Chase.
Thank you so much. I'm going to pass back to Af, but once again, thank you so much for joining us. And I know there's going to be a bunch more good questions. So hopefully you're enjoying your time.
Yeah.
Cheers, Mike. And he's a modest man as well. And we owe a lot to Michael because he set up the Facebook group and he's been a great moderator and brought us all together as well. So I'll big him up for him rather than him do it himself.
Thank you, brother. Af started this entire Clubhouse journey, though, so we will say that. It was one message in the group. Af said, "Hey, I wonder if anybody wants to do a Clubhouse." And I was like, "Let's do it, bro." So that's the whole
No
start.
turning back. No turning back. Just another Clubhouse trick as well. If you ever want to show someone something, you can change your profile picture. So you click on your face. So there's a thing called PTR. So you might be in a room where someone says PTR. That means pull to refresh. So if you slide your picture down, and it should refresh from my face to the VeVe icon on my thing there. So a lot of people do that. They say PTR, and it means they've changed their picture to they want to show you their vault, or they want to show you a collectible, or what they've seen on the internet, etc. So a small way of communicating. Anyway, more tricks for the Clubhouse. Mark, you're up, buddy.
Hey. So I briefly touched on it in the pre-show, but more of a feedback, I guess. Rhys, as we said, I wrote in the question because it's not something that you can answer, but I'm the VeVe Wiki guys. I've been busy sending out a lot of invites to Clubhouse while we've been on here. So yeah, it's about trying to get some data in terms of marketplace data mainly, so we can put it out there in the general public. So if people aren't aware, there's a couple of big sites for Top Shots. Evaluate.market's the big one, which Top Shots now linked to, and so you can get on there and you can basically see a full transaction history of any Top Shot, and even then see people's collections and what they bought for. And I guess the biggest feedback I get from the community is VeVe ever going to do that, or can they give us data? And I understand from a technical aspect, you guys are sort of a bit of a proprietary system at the moment. And I guess the whole thing about NFTs is it sort of should be more open, right? We should be able to see the transaction history. So it's a bit of feedback. I think you said earlier on, hey, listen, the devs are getting smashed at the moment, and it's something they just haven't had time to. So hey, if you could put me in touch with Michael or any of the guys, I can help out with it. You know what I mean? And I know Hello K, the Omi guys on Twitter that do the Omi Bird, who spoke about it. So maybe it's something we could all team up and help with, sort of thing. So
definitely. I think there's definitely a lot of opportunity there. I know that some of the early thinking with not putting that data out was more, maybe not every collector wants people to know how big their collection is, or what they've kind of bought or sold, or those kind of things, especially because it is so easy to attach people's faces to their accounts through VeVe, whereas some other platforms with similar data out there, well, maybe it's just attached to an address, so there's at least that kind of break in the chain, whereas VeVe is a lot more personable as an application. People have their own face in there, and So there's always those kind of considerations putting that much data out, but I think
on the collector
markets.
I think the collector side, I agree with you. I'm not too sure about that, and maybe you can opt in or something like that. Because even with the VeVe Wiki website, I was thinking of letting people just create their own page on there, so they could just sign up, and if they wanted to, they could just tick. Because I did have all the models in there until last week. You could just tick the models and sort of almost create your own public vault. So I agree with you on that. I think more just in terms of the models, like Mike and I were doing it, and there's a few other guys out there doing spreadsheets, and we were manually logging in, right, to try and track the price of these things. And we sort of stopped doing it because it's just too much work now with all the models. So we'll watch this space, but it'll be something cool. The other sort of question I had was more of a personal question. I was even talking to my wife about it yesterday, was the alignment between physical and digital collectibles, right? You touched on it earlier on. You guys have said you might end up doing that. I'm really interested to see how that would sort of work, because I'm in sort of two minds about it. I think the beauty of NFTs, right, is that they're digital and you can track everything. And so then once you send a physical item out with that, it sort of almost takes away from the digital item. And then how can the two be tracked together? How I see it being working better, sort of quite well. And shout out to Theo, my friend in Melbourne. He can't join us today because it's Mother's Day. He's with his mother right now. He asked the same thing. He was like, will VeVe ever be sort of aligning their digital NFTs with maybe, smart contract tickets and things to events, which I think would be cool, because you'd rock up and you'd have your Rhys or whatever, right? And you could show it on the app, and that proves you own it. So sort of two things there. One, do you have any idea how the physical digital would tie in together? And two, have you thought about doing any sort of event sort of thing like that with tickets?
So I guess I should just kind of make it clear at the moment, when it comes to the a physical offering with a digital collectible, we're not really talking about your stock standard sort of Batmans or things like that. We're talking about exclusive releases from premium artists around the world, where the physical pieces might fetch quite a hefty valuation. And through the they'll do an exclusive digital release, and you might have, I think I mentioned this earlier, like a 1 in X chance of also winning the matching physical piece.
Awesome.
So that's from a promotion point of view and that kind of thing, that those kind of things will attract a lot of users. Obviously, everyone's financially incentivized to participate in these things. And if you don't get the physical, well, you also have this incredible limited edition digital version of that piece. So that for users is a really incredible opportunity, but it's also helping to bridge the gap for artists to come in and to really start to flex in this space. So that's kind of where at least one of those physical digital bridges will come in. Rather than you buy a Batman and you get the physical counterpart. Now there has been talk of doing that the other way. Maybe eventually you buy a figurine or something like that you from a brand you really enjoy, scan a code and you get the same collectible on VeVe, or some sort of, maybe buy the physical piece and it gives you something exclusive within VeVe that isn't the same. You get access to a new cape or something like that. The same sort of the same sort of idea behind our ability to run location-based events as well. If you show up physically at a Comic-Con and we're there, well, then you can get this exclusive digital collectible or
I love that idea.
Like that.
And you said it before in terms of I love the idea of the digital signature. You rock up and Todd's at the event and you can get it signed, your Rizzo signed, or your your Todd Batman signed would be amazing.
That's it. So all of those things are actually part of the same mechanism. We're bridging the physical digital gap, but it doesn't always have to be done with an asset or a possession. It kind of it's just a new way to access that fandom and to give you more access to your favorite artists or your favorite your brands or sculptors or whatever it happens to be.
And I think I've been in 3D for 20 years. I did my final year project in it, and it's taken 20 years for it to get to this point. And I do think it's that connection between the physical world is what's really going to help it. You know what I mean? Like with the virtual headsets and stuff. Once you put it on, you're sort of a different world. But the AR aspect of it, that whole, hey, I can get it signed by the artist, or I can go to the event, and I can. The location-based thing, I think, is awesome. That idea is you rock up at the store. So I think that's where I think VeVe could really make an impact on that, is that alignment. So
it really helps access the existing world of collectibles too. And collectors. I mean, everyone is so used to collecting their favorite pieces. And there's a tangibility to that. And that's a lot of the reason we lent into AR more so than VR, right? Like, obviously, our showrooms are VR enabled, but you have to put a headset on to sink into that world. So there's a physical digital barrier there. Whereas as this develops with wearable technology and AR glasses and things like that, it really does give us the opportunity to create much more immersive experiences. And I think that helps bridge the physical digital gap as well, outside of the products.
It's going to be great.
Sorry, you did have another question. There was a two-parter, but I've gone on a tangent. What was the other part of your question?
It was more around, I think we touched on it, was like going to the events. Like, say, I'm chatting to, shout out to Kevin Quigley. He's organizing Ecomi Con, and that sort of thing. Yeah, like going, if a Ecomi Con happens, how cool would that be? Is that you rock up and you've got, hey, for example, I just got the 4 sets of Batman, so I can go into the Batman lobby, you know what I mean, and maybe get something signed. Yeah.
Yep. Or because we can see that you've got those, well then you get an exclusive Batman thing, whereas somebody else might love Tokidoki and they get an exclusive Tokidoki thing.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
That kind of stuff. But I can't wait to see people cosplaying as David Yu and dance.
and hashtag Team Rhys. You'll have all Team Rhys.
Always Team Rhys.
we want a Vegas convention. We want to meet up in Vegas. Well, I'm putting that out there. I'm putting it on the table anyway. But right, I just a bit conscious of time and your time as well, Rhys. We go to 1:30 if that's all right with you, because
absolutely.
I know you're probably really busy. So I'm going to start inviting people up from the audience. I'm going to let people run wild on you, and I think you're probably going to want to learn some stuff out of us as well on this, and what the mood is towards things and things like that. So I'm going to start inviting people up and try and do quick fire questions, quick fire answers. Andy, you're up next. You fire away, and I'll invite people whilst you're asking the question. Andy, go ahead.
Sure, man. Just hitting on something you might have mentioned earlier, mentioning first editions and first appearances. Are there going to be second editions? Is there going to be different variants? And I know that might be kind of in the NFT world where kind of everything's serialized and very exclusive. But as your app grows, there'll be people that want a Rizzo or others that will simply be priced out. Will we see the colorized Harley Quinn, we've seen a picture of that kind of thing?
There will be variants for available collectibles, and as we move ahead, I mean, perfect example is probably the Ghostbusters Moogly.
Exactly.
There was the original, the Platinum, and the Toy Tokyo Gold version. So we will see things like that. I'm not sure which collectibles they'll apply to. With things like the ones that are already released, the Batman Black and Whites, no, I think the ones that are available now are the ones that are available. But depending on the license and if we're doing other collaborations, there will be variants there that people can acquire, and variants at different price points. Eventually these also become composable. You'll be able to swap out the skins or the costume or the this or the that, and sell those on as well. So people will have, or users will have, a bit more free reign over how they customize their collectibles as well, which will obviously lead to all the variants there, like user created variants. So that would be that. No, there won't be. First edition is first edition for a reason. So there sort of won't be second edition within the same series. But obviously, we've now had 4 Batman Black and White series drop, which is 16 or 20 collectibles available of 100 Batman Black and White statues. So if you're a fan, there will always be that. And when it comes to pricing, I mean, yeah, there's some outrageous prices in the market at the moment. But I'm a big believer that the free market will decide on those values. So just because someone's listed something for 100,000 gems, if no one buys it, they're going to have to drop their price eventually. So we'll see. We'll see how far that one goes. But
thanks, man.
No worries.
Absolutely. Thanks, Andy. Sorry, I'm not looking at my screen right now. I think the next one was Mike. Mike, are you there? Eric. Go
I
for
am.
it, Eric from Canada.
Yeah, Mike can go ahead though first. It's cool. Whatever.
Go on,
Nah,
Eric.
go ahead, Eric. I think you. Oh, Mike over there. Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Eric. Eric, it's over to you, my friend.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Rhys. Nice to meet. I'm in Canada, Ottawa, and I have to say,
Nice.
25 years ago, I did a year of uni in Queensland, so I'm a Queenslander at heart. But
I'll accept you. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm a Broncos. I'm a Broncos guy, even 25 years later.
Nice.
Anyways, what I was going to say, and again, I'm more of a sports guy, but I've really got into and I'm not a techie, so this stuff's all hard to me as it is. But I own a lot of collectibles I bought, including 2 of the Harley Quinn 19s, which I love. And I told these guys earlier, I'm 5 million Omi proud, so it's good. So
fantastic.
Anyways, what I wanted to say is 2 things. One, you already addressed my first question earlier when you're talking about the partnership with the big advertising company and things. And I guess just to add to that is, like, I noticed that company has a lot of obviously famous stars that are part of their company, and then a lot of them are actors in the quote Superman, Batman type movies, as well as a new Harley Quinn movies coming out this summer, things like that. Do you know anything about that? Like, you trying to make connections with those movies compared to with the collectibles? Is that anything that's on the radar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
As this engine kind of speeds up, we are becoming increasingly aware of, when these movie releases happen. Now, I'm not going to go as far as saying that there's any direct partnership with the movie release and our collectible releases and things like that, but being aware of it obviously gives us a bit of a leg up to leverage that excitement on both fronts. Yeah, the PR firm obviously works with some of the biggest actors and actresses and names in the world and companies and things. So, it's kind of incredible to see the crossover between a lot of these companies and the people that work together and just how those opportunities can come about. On the collectible side, the cinematic licenses and the likeness rights, to whatever actor happens to be playing this character are very separate things. Okay. So the licenses we've acquired at the moment are for the IP, and it is a different, or at least a separate sort of contract and separate agreement to be able to use the actor's face as that character, in the releases. But look, it's definitely something we're working towards. I mean, we're working towards world domination, so hopefully we have all of those things.
Well, I got you. Hey, look,
anyway.
I'm a hardcore basketball guy, and I got Top Shots. I spend more time on my VeVe stuff, maybe because of my kids and stuff, because I just love what you're doing. And if I was going to if I could make one thing that I think, only one, because trust me, they tick me off all the time, but you guys, I love. But the one thing I would say that they do that's actually really good, and it keeps out a lot of the flippers, so to speak, is the way that they do the pack drops, where you can't go in and buy 5 of the same thing. If they have a pack drop and they're dropping 30,000 packs, well, 150,000 people put in, and then it's a randomizer. And if you get in, you get one, and that's the way it goes. And I just think that that's sometimes a fair way, because it's crazy on this when you go on the Telegram right after some guy's selling 7 of the ultra rares. I'm like, what? Like, how did that happen 5 minutes later? So just a suggestion in the sense of that's kind of really a fair way, and I just find that the flippers are sometimes killing the collectors, I guess.
For sure, and blind boxes are absolutely on the way to VeVe.
Cool.
Yeah. All of these, it's so hard not revealing too much about stuff.
exclusive, everybody. Send it out. I'm joking.
No, I think the blind box info is out there anyway.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah. Obviously, what people are seeing now is the very first version. But for the last 2 or 3 years, as we've been building this, we've got the development plans. We know what sort of features we want on there. Blind boxes have been on the roadmap since before Top Shots existed, for that exact reason. And obviously to create a more equitable system. But it's exciting to unwrap something and you don't know what you're going to get. It's the same as when you collected cards back in the day, and it was just a lucky draw. Now they probably won't be available for all brands or licenses. Some it wouldn't make sense to do a blind box for, but there will be different, really, really different things. Cool. One idea that someone suggested yesterday or a couple of days ago, after Trevor's chat, that I really enjoyed, was say, we have the Jurassic Park license coming out sometime soon. What if you actually just bought a dino egg and you didn't know what dinosaur you were going to get, and then you got it and you tapped it open and it hatched into whatever it happens to be, So there's really cool digital versions of unboxings or blind boxes or things that we can start to build in as well, that I think just take this kind of experience to a whole different level.
No, amazing. Like, the last thing to say is just two things. The Cryptikins, like, I never knew what they were. I bought some for my kids, and then I went online to the store in California and ordered some of the real ones to come to my house. Like, if you asked me if I would do that 6 months ago, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But I just want to say, like, it's so much fun. I love the energy, the positive energy from you guys, and I love being part of the community. And keep it up, man. And it's great. Thanks so much for your time.
We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Awesome words there. Okay, so I'm just going to try and fire questions out as quick as possible. Jason, are you there?
Yeah, let's do it.
Nice killer one. Go for it, Jason.
Hey, what's up, guys? I feel so honored to be in this discussion right now. And, Rhys, just to be connected to somebody that's like one of the forefathers, the Mount Rushmore of this program it's just so awesome. Like, I feel like I've just watched you on YouTube today. Oh wait, I did. Anyways, I'm a huge proponent of your program. I'm always, plugging it to whoever is willing to listen. I don't know. I got in March 3rd, and anyways, this is, I don't know. If you had told me, like, even a month ago that, oh yeah, hey Jason, you're going to have a new hobby in your life that will replace just about everything that you absolutely love, it would be shocking. I mean, I literally liquidated all my Bitcoin and put it into Omi today. So.
Welcome. I think you made a good choice.
Thank you. What are you guys forecasting long term as far as the Omi token, as far as VeVe itself, and where do you guys hope to be? Is this the advent of Ready Player One? Are you guys hoping to band with the metaverse, or I keep hearing about the VeVe-verse and all this stuff, and video gaming.
Yeah.
And, what's going on? What can you tell us?
Look, the long-term vision is definitely the Ready Player One fully immersive style universe. Now, Trevor mentioned a few days ago just how much that will take to build. He kind of said, "Give me 400 developers in 10 years, and I'll give you Ready Player One." So it's definitely a long-term goal there. But our ethos, our business, it's always revolved around the user experience and creating that enjoyment fundamentally. We want people to enjoy these products and enjoy the app and enjoy the experience. So, look, I think the app will always be in development and grow progressively. The VeVe-verse, whatever that is in its first iteration or two, not only opens us up to PC, right? So it opens us up to a much wider audience, because right now, obviously, if you don't have a phone that can support AR, you can't use VeVe, or you use it in a very light version. So we're trying to open access to more people with that. Also gives us a lot more potentiality to build in more powerful experiences, I suppose is probably the best term. for things like that.
On
so
a PC
yeah,
versus on the phone. Sure, I get you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, over a mobile sort of thing. I mean, both will develop concurrently, and maybe you have different experiences on the PC that you do on the phone. That'll all probably change again once wearables become a lot more common. But really, yeah, that's kind of the future we're building for too, that immersive overlay of digital content in the real world. So, eventually the VeVe-verse might, you put on your glasses and you're actually seeing a completely different world in your lounge room or on the city streets or whatever happens to be, to just continue to expand on that. I mean, it's a new frontier more than anything. And we can take it in whatever direction we choose to. And at the moment, we're doing that for the users. So it really comes down to what fans are looking for as well. What kind of new experiences and interactions we can build in on that front.
I absolutely love that. Yeah, anybody getting in right now, it's, I don't know, this is fascinating. I mean, who do you guys, who is your biggest competitor, would you say? I mean, I know Terra Virtua seems pretty cool. They don't have the licenses you guys have by any means.
Yeah. At the moment, I think we've cornered the market.
I definitely think so too.
That's and that was the goal, right? We went after these licenses early. David and Dan and Al had this vision from day one to acquire these things, and obviously, unlike most companies that are starting or building in this space, they don't have the access to the licensors that we have had. Now, obviously, it's been a grind. It's been a lot of years of building and going back to licensors, trying to teach them about the experience, the opportunity, trying to show them, and from their point of view, this is an incredible opportunity for their IP to reach into the digital world in a way that users can still own those items. So they're super excited, and because of the licenses we have on board, and the way that we've built the app, a lot of the feedback we get from licensors is the fact that we have built it for a user experience from that point of view, as opposed to just trying to hit that cash grab or sell products. We really hit a critical mass point maybe 12 months ago, where the app was really at a point where these licensors could see our vision, right? And they'd been privy to it over the previous couple of years, but to see it come to life, more started to join, and now we quite literally have meetings week with new licensors and new brands and people. Not, some of them don't want to just dive headfirst in, but they want to understand the opportunity and the industry. And usually when they've walked away from a conversation with us, they have all of that knowledge now. And look, credit to all the other NFT projects and everything in the space. I think people should absolutely be using them and exploring them and those things. But at this stage, I think we're, one of the clear winners.
In short, is that you saying VeVe to the moon?
100%. We're going to Mars. But look, it's by design, obviously. The licenses and brands we've brought on board were to give us this impact, but also to leverage existing fan bases. We don't have to rebuild from the ground up and try to sell people or bring them into a product they've never heard of and teach them the value prop of that. We already have, and something different fan bases, that already know and love these things. So yeah, I think that really
I think
sets us apart.
That's probably one of the frustrating things for the believers is, even today I had a friend go, "Are you sure this isn't a rug pull?" And I'm like, I don't think DC would be signing, their head of licensing is probably pretty knowledgeable to be not signing with a rug pull.
Not to mention, these companies have clearly done months and weeks of due diligence. They don't just oh, that sounds great, here, use our world-class IP. It's it all goes, every single word goes through every legal team. We can't put a piece of content out until the licensors sign. That's every release. We send them the models, we send them the content, the copy that's going out. It all gets signed off every single week, and that's why we have some little delays sometimes. You know, the crypto world is used to everything going 100 miles an hour, and the licensing world is used to taking their sweet ass time on everything. So it's just, you know, we're really trying to marry those things. Now, as the app has developed and the ecosystem's developed, and their trust in us has grown as well to be able to deliver this product, those interactions are becoming more seamless. It's much easier to kind of push that through. But that's also why we see some delays sometimes as well, or things like that. So yeah, that's.
Can I just say this? Whenever I buy an NFT that's not VeVe, I feel like I'm cheating on you, and it's like dirty little
That's great.
Feel dirty enough to go and have a shower.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. What kinds of NFTs are you guys buying elsewhere? What gets your attention?
Only to flip to buy VeVe.
The good packs, the platinum packs and things, but I guess that's part of the master collector program in a way. But
that's it. The other thoughts I think are really great. Awesome product, those kind of things. But at least in its current iteration, it's also a product that can be diluted endlessly. You know, there are so many moments from so many matches every year, and years and years and years of seasons, and there are some that are truly monumental, but as an ongoing product, I'm curious to follow the journey as to how they kind of keep people motivated, past that point of just potential resale value and those kind of things. Now, I also have skipped the Omi question that came in as the two-parter then. Omi is fundamental to the way that our platform runs. Deliberately hidden from use because we're trying to target that mass mainstream audience, but if you understand the tokenomics system behind it, I mean, it's probably one of the most powerful things to exist in crypto, especially when you take into account we are one of the only companies actually generating revenue. We have a product that is being really well received, and every time one of those products sell, it's benefiting the token holder. So fundamentally, it's crucial to the integration and the interaction of the system, but it will continue to be as we build the ecosystem. Whatever the VeVe-verse becomes will be built on top of the Omi token. It will all run to benefit token holders because, frankly, we wouldn't be here without our earliest investors. That's how we raised. That's the ecosystem we chose to operate in, and we'll continue to reward token holders as we move forward with those kind of things. So, yeah, it's a pretty ingenious system.
Thank you for answering that. Yeah, I mean, do you foresee a certain, dare I say, dollar amount on the Omi value, like 5-10 years from now? You guys talk about that?
No, we don't put a number to it because you don't have to. Yeah, look, obviously I can't speculate on any sort of price target.
We want financial advice. We want financial advice.
Yeah, but look, we've designed the system to benefit token holders, provided we are selling collectibles, and anything on the platform. Really, I won't just peg them to the current form of collectible that are available, but anything that's sold on there is benefiting the token holder. I think we can all agree that the ongoing scarcity of the Omi token, which will increase as this journey continues, should lead to value appreciation. But I'll just leave it at that. So.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for answering my question. I appreciate it.
We'll just we'll ask at least one more, but honestly, feel free to jump off when you want, Rhys, because I know you're a busy man, got Mother's Day as well. But Mario, we just asked Mario, and again, apologies if you can't get one. If we do end the show in a minute, then before everybody goes, click on each other's profiles. You can follow people on Clubhouse. You can follow them on Twitter if they've got that on their profile. Just swipe up. You can follow them on Instagram. Like I say, we open these rooms a bit sporadically. We open them once a week, and we open them during the drops as well. So if you want to experience the drops together of us saying, "Oh my God, I've got something. Oh my God, I've just been kicked out of the app. I'm logging in. My Wi-Fi's gone down," everything like that. And Claire will go live and shout at her husband live on Clubhouse for us as well. So If you want all that excitement, then follow us. And make sure you're following the Facebook page. And also, please, if you have enjoyed it, write on Twitter that you've enjoyed this Clubhouse. Screenshot the page now. Post it on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on the Facebook, so that we can have more followers and grow the community and have good times. So here we go, Mario. Give us a killer question as quick as you can.
All right. Thanks, Rhys. It's the Mario Carters from Telegram and VeVe. Nice to talk to you.
Nice. You too.
Yeah, hey, so question for you is on utility and interoperability, just two kind of concepts in the NFT space. On utility kind of moving forward, how do you see the collectibles playing a role kind of beyond just us collecting them? How that might play in the metaverse, et cetera. And then on interoperability, will we be able to move these NFTs off the platform?
Yeah. So first and foremost, the utility, we're really building towards and moving towards digital toys rather than just static digital collectibles. Now, the earliest utility interactions with those, obviously, you've got your showrooms and things like that. But same deal, as the ecosystem develops, the more utility we can build in, obviously, the more user friendly and the more value that these collectibles have. So that's definitely part of the plan moving forward. Different types of collectibles will have different utility. Obviously, once we start rolling out the vehicles, like the General Motors stuff, hopefully it's not too far down the track where you can actually build a little AR racetrack, drop some little witches hats that you've purchased as an accessory or collected along the way and race your friends' vehicles in AR and those kind of things. So that's definitely in the sights and something that we want to work towards, because fundamentally, to create these digital collectibles, I mean, we want to be able to enable digital-only experiences and new digital experiences. And Trevor put it well the other way, like we win the game if we can bring over traditional collectors to the digital world, because they have the same value propositions of rarity and scarcity, except that you can build in so many new experiences with those. So yeah, definitely part of the plans. As to what comes first or the specifics of that, we'll have to wait and see together. That'll depend on the development. And interoperability, yeah, absolutely. Look, we've been trying to optimize the Omi to Gem thing this week and hitting the rate limits of GoChain. Now we've re-engineered a few bits and pieces there, but the whole goal with this is also for your collectibles to become interoperable. When we first started building this, blockchain was a dirty word. Anytime you spoke to a licensor, like people just, isn't that Bitcoin scam or this or that? So, we had to build it as a walled garden, as it's now sort of described, to protect their IP as well, right? But now that these licensors have kind of warmed to the idea and crypto and NFTs are hot and people are actually understanding that this is the same sort of transition that, music went from records to CDs to MP3s, and movies went from VHS to DVD to streaming. This is the digital transition of physical items and physical collectibles. And we are the leaders in that space, right? And obviously we already have access to those IPs and things. So yeah, most of the holdup at the moment is really in establishing the new legalese and the new contracts for this kind of stuff. Some licensors still won't go for it, right? So there probably will be that. Some won't see that potential or won't see it until later. But then some of them want to go straight to interoperability as soon as they roll out on the platform. So it's definitely something we'll see sooner than later. Technically, there's a few things that need to take place to allow that sort of stuff to open up. And once we get all the contracts over the line for whichever licensors want to be part of it, that will be a thing. But again, that's just giving you as a user more utility and more options with your collectibles. So you'll be able to store them offline, send them where you want, sell them on other marketplaces. Personally, I think most people will do it to start and then probably just come back to VeVe. I mean, it benefits token holders for these transactions to take place within our ecosystem. I think it's more likely that if you're scrolling through, say, OpenSea, for example, and you're seeing all of the chaos of user-generated collectibles, and then you see a Rhys or you see another, you see some Tokidoki, you'll want to know where that came from. and so I think it's actually going to be hugely beneficial to our ecosystem to enable it. And I'm from the crypto world, so yeah, it's important to me too to be able to have that option with my collectibles. So yeah, definitely coming. I think it's safe to say it'll happen this year. Hopefully much sooner than the end. We're getting through this year for sure. So yeah, it's on the way.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks, Mario. Just going back onto the your question of who's collecting what NFT again, just to give Michael Mark's website another plug. If you click on Michael Keane, you can see nftcatcher.io and sign up to their page. You will never miss a drop. How about that? We've been discussing the Beeple raffles. We all entered that. Some mad question and answers for that. I don't know if you saw the quiz for that. It was ridiculous.
Did anyone get one? Did anyone snag a Beeple?
Unfortunately not.
I wouldn't be here now if I
Yeah.
got one.
I got one, and I'm talking from my villa in the Bahamas now.
There'd be no
nice.
There'd be no Rizzos left in the market if we had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's fair. Sorry, someone asked earlier about other projects that I've kind of been keeping an eye on. Artifact, RTFKT. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to that, but they're doing a lot of collaborations in digital fashion, releasing digital sneakers that appear.
I got one of those. I got one of those meta pins the other day.
You got you got the pigeon?
I got number. I got number 2 out of 100.
Number 2.
Oh man, I got up at 5 a.m. for that and missed it.
Tough.
But
there was about 50 of us trying, and I'm the only one that got it.
It was after the VeVe drop, though, Rhys. I was up at 2 a.m.
You're telling me. I was up at 1 for the VeVe drop and up at 5 for the pigeon. I don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore.
I stayed awake till 2:30 a.m. and then I was contemplating just staying awake till 5 a.m. for it.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? All the like you said earlier, there's 6 months ago, or I never would have assumed that I'd be getting out of bed twice in a night to buy these digital things, but here we are.
Well, I actually have another clubhouse going. It's called VeVe Anonymous, VA.
Just it's a support group. It's good.
Yeah. My name's Af, and I'm addicted to VeVe. Hello, everybody.
I actually don't even know who I am anymore. You guys turned me into a collector. Honestly, I was never from this world, though. And I guess if you don't mind, I have some questions which you can answer as you please. I just wanted to ask you what you think. And first of all, actually, I'm from Canada as well, so I think we have to be represented at least in your top 10. I'm Paintball NFTs was DeFi Donnie, so you might see me. I've been pretty active and love what you guys are doing. And I just wanted to ask you personally, what do you think is the your personal most underrated collectible and why? And and I guess you can choose to answer if you like, and not holding you to anything, but your educated guess is better than ours, honestly. And for the people in this chat, if you were to throw a number, if I were to say, Rhys, I'll give you $100 million billion if you're within 10,000 of the guess. How many users do you think we'd have in end of Q2, end of Q3? And to put you in the spot, because I have the opportunity, I remember from an older video that was not that old really, but before there was a lot of traction, Dan said, quote unquote, NFL coming probably before the end of Q2. Do you have any comments? And love you. Thank you.
That was good way to
that
finish
was a lot
that.
of questions.
Yeah. He's had to say that because he's asked 3 questions. We'll let him have it.
You're gonna have to remind me of the other 2 in a second. I'm just looking at my my VeVe collection actually as we speak. Underrated collectibles, I really enjoy having the first series of Adventure Time. Obviously they were geo-locked to China, but in the early days, the people that were getting them in China were kind of just listing them for 20 gems. They weren't going for ridiculous amounts. They were just because there wasn't that many of us in the app, and it was more of an equitable, let's just get these collectibles circulating. which is pretty cool. I really like the Platinum Ghostbusters logo. It was the first secret rare to hit the app as well.
Do you own one?
Oh, I own one. Yeah. I own first edition number 50.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
You deserve that.
I got a Nightwing and things. The earliest collectibles I have are they're the lower edition numbers because there just wasn't as much competition. So I guess I covered them the most because now I join the drop just like everybody else and get number 5,000 and something, and it's just not. I mean, it's great to have, but it's not as satisfying. That's sure.
Good to know, though. Thank you.
I got the here you go. The very first publicly available Brian Bollard Penguin. I think I've got the number 41 of those as well.
With the incorrect name, Rhys, as well.
I know. It's Bollard, right? Bollard.
Yeah.
A little glitch there. Yeah.
Is that a misprint? Is that going to be fixed? A lot of people ask that question.
Yeah, it should be fixed. It should definitely be fixed, but no, there's too much going on. I might pass that on again. Yeah. So I covered those collectibles, the early ones, and that's for me as a little. Like I remember where I was when I first kind of got the Todd McFarlane Batman and
I remember
the first
where it was.
release happened. So yeah, those things are good. So that's part one. What was part 2 and 3?
Thank you, man. I'm with you on those. Actually, I've been trying to not pump, but telling my friends don't sleep on Finn and Jake. And I guess the last parts of the question, as I said, you can choose what you want to answer, of course. Yep. Sort of what would be your random best bet, not holding you to anything, on like the users that you would expect by end of Q2, Q3, and do you have any sort of comment on what I said regarding Dan's quote for the earlier video? Love you.
NFL.
Yeah, so
NFL, right? Yeah.
The NFL. Yep. So yeah, the NFL we originally I think had slated for sometime this quarter. And then everything I think everyone's aware of this, but everything has kind of been shifted back so we could re-engineer and make those optimizations. From what I know of the NFL, I think, I'm not going to say it would be wasted to roll out this quarter, but summer in the States, sport kind of goes off the radar for a little while. So I think from a PR marketing point of view, from a fan base point of view, we're probably better off waiting until closer to the season starts, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is September. I think that would be a better move. We were trying to get some stuff going for the draft, but we just kind of didn't get there in time. So yeah, I don't know if the NFL will happen this quarter. I think it's more likely to happen next quarter. Same as we were saying earlier with movie releases and things like that for sporting brands and licenses. I just think we're better off lining them up when there is a lot of excitement about it again and people are coming back to it. That's where I think we'll see maybe the first blind boxes roll out as well. They might roll out sooner, but so you'd open packs and maybe there's a few rookies and a few veterans and a few current players or something like that, right? Because the license is with the Players Association. So you're actually collecting the players themselves, which is a really, really cool thing. Yeah. So if that's the way that it rolls out, if you get a couple of rookies or rookie cards, maybe those collectibles become the most valuable in a few years' time because those rookies make it, and do really well. So that's yeah, I think that it'll happen later in the year. I think it's pretty safe to say that. I think it makes more sense from that point of view. Yeah, and then users. I don't know if I just answered that, but yeah, we're definitely aiming towards 1 million users by the end of the year. What happens between now and then, I'm not sure. We're getting pretty close to starting to line up and roll out a lot of these announcements and brands. And, there's so many brands that you guys just aren't aware of that will be available or at least announced, in the next few months. So who knows? Maybe 1 million is too conservative. It's going to be great
at this point. Clubhouse exclusives, I reckon.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah. And the last thing was he loves you. I don't know if you want to comment on that or just totally ignore that one.
I love you too, man. I love you too.
More memes, I feel like, off of that one.
The memes crack me up. They make my day every single day. They're so good.
Cool. Right, I'm gonna make an executive decision here and say we're going for 4 minutes longer because I think everyone's got lives. I know we could speak all night. But let's go 4 minutes longer. We've got our resident YouTuber in here as well. Hi, Kyle. I've not met you formally yet, but hello. I just want guys? Good man. I just want Mike. Are you there? I just want a quick rapid fire question from you, Mike, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm here. Calling here from New York, and I'm going to start off strong and say I love you too, Rhys.
Jeez, man. So much man love. It's so good.
Team Rhys.
Yeah, I'm actually coming back from a New York Yankees game. It was a nail biter. I was at Yankee Stadium first time in 2 years, so I'm loving the fact that you're thinking about doing some NFTs with the sports world, particularly in the States. We're hungry for sports, and whenever there's something live, especially these days, we want to take the kids and have a great time. Took my son today, and we actually had a ball signed by Garrett Cole. He's like the ace pitcher. So the first thing I thought of was like, how do I NFT this?
Yep.
Yeah. So a little bit about my background. I kind of dance around the financial markets, mostly U.S. equities, and I did a little bit of research. And if anybody asked me, like, you'd be collecting dolls and online, laugh.
Yep.
So, so I did a little digging around, went down the rabbit hole. I'm sure many of you guys have done it as well. And from my perspective, I think you guys have the blue chip in the space. So like my wife's in the art world, and you guys are like, the bonds, in my opinion. So kudos to you guys, and the IP that you guys have is truly incredible. And from what I'm hearing, it's just the runway is just gonna keep going. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So my question to you, and for what I like to see is, overall market capitalization. So is there any sort of metric that you guys are letting out, some sort of dynamic, let's say when you guys have a drop, what it sells for? Obviously everything sells out pretty quick now, which is great. You want to see that like a sneaker drop. But are you guys kind of keeping track of what the overall token values are and each collectible, things like that? So someone like me can kind of get a sense of how things are going.
Yeah, I mean, so we obviously release all the pricing and collectible information on the VeVe blog, a day or two before the drops, which you could use to calculate a rough sort of company revenue from each week. The token, obviously we will continue to do as many things as we can to support that. New exchanges, really, once we start rolling out some more brands and licenses, that excitement presumably will return. But fundamentally, that's decided by the market. So, although we aim to do as much as we can there, like there are still some whales out there. Can't really help what people are doing to push around the market at the moment. That kind of thing. I think eventually, we'll probably be releasing some more in-depth reports. But being a proprietary limited company and things like that, it's a really interesting marriage between crypto and traditional business, because everybody, the crypto world operates on complete transparency, or as close to as you can. So at least people's expectations are of complete transparency. Whereas in the normal business world, you don't typically publish all of your financials and all of that kind of information, at least, in these early stages, while it's a private company. So look, I think as time goes on, more metrics will be available. But I don't know how in-depth that will be or how far into those kind of things we'll dive in terms of expenses. I don't think you'll ever find out the royalties or the those things that are being paid to each licensor and that kind of stuff too, because they're all on case-by-case basis. That's probably all I can say to that.
And I would just say, when I started, it was tough for me to understand where the drops were. And I actually learned a lot about VeVe through the NFTcatcher.io. It's really a great website for me, at least from my perspective. It kind of organizes everything. And I'll just put another plug in for that. I think it's
lovely
great.
Plug. Lovely plug. We love the plugs.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess from my point of view, I've been putting this content out, all the blog articles, all the Medium, and that stuff for so many years that it's kind of easy to forget people are at different stages of that journey. So people that have been here from the start probably know almost as much about VeVe and Ecomi as I do. Whereas now a lot of those articles and a lot of that information have just kind of fallen into the internet nethers, where maybe it's not so accessible. So that's definitely, that's good feedback for me anyway, to be able to restructure some of the content that we put out just so that it is more obvious to new users as well. So I appreciate it.
And thank you again with that luxurious accent. I really got to get one of those as well.
You got to grow into them,
Yeah, I feel like you need to drink like 3 pots of coffee to get that accent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude,
And never
Little
sleep.
Collins in New York has taken over. Little Collins is the best Australian coffee shop in the city.
Nice. It's about time there was some good coffee on your side of the world. That's all I'm saying.
Cool. Kyle, do you just want to just plug your YouTube channel a sec, because I know you gave us a shout out
Absolutely.
on yours, so just plug it, because I'm just going to wrap it up now. But
Sure. Yeah. Of course, my YouTube channel is just my name. It's just Kyle Wilson, and I'm just a guy on the internet ultimately, and support VeVe and
you're the guy. You're the guy
You're
on the
the
internet,
guy.
Kyle.
Absolutely, yeah. And look, just from us, Kyle, man, like thank you to all of you guys. All the content everyone's producing, like it's humbling. It is truly mind blowing, and just it blows me away. We were talking about that pseudo celebrity status earlier, but to say something in Telegram and then see it in a YouTube title 5 seconds later, like, it's kind of crazy to watch. But like, just from the bottom of our hearts, huge thank you to everybody that is involved and getting involved in any capacity. And we're really appreciative of it. It's all contributing to the success of the platform, and obviously that contributes to our success as well. Everybody that's involved. So it's
we appreciate you guys and appreciate your hard work and late nights, and you guys staying up super late for drops and all that stuff. And,
absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure for joining us. Thank you so much. I'll speak for everyone in saying thank you. And yeah, so like I say, it's a pleasure doing all of it. If again you've got one last chance to click on people's profiles, follow them on Twitter, follow them on Clubhouse. We do open these rooms regularly. Rhys, always feel free to drop in. Sometimes if you're driving the car to work or whatever, you can listen in on us like some sort of radio station. Don't always feel obliged to be in the hot seat. We're not going to grill you all the time. But it was very
for me, I absolutely love this. I love being able to communicate with you guys, and this is what I really enjoy doing. So yeah, knowing that Clubhouse is this easy now, I will swing by.
Excellent. Really sorry as well if you didn't get a chance to ask a question. I know a lot of people had their hands up, but time is money. Time is money, my friends. And it's 2 a.m. in England, and I need to go to sleep. So
we better let you guys go to bed.
Yeah. Everybody tweet it, write it about it on Facebook, and we'll catch you all very soon.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Rhys.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
Really appreciate it.
everybody.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Goodbye.
Yeah, cheers, Rhys.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.